Welcome to NABOR's Allied and Affiliate Spotlight Show, the show that gives you tips and strategies, tools and resources to help you save time and money, streamline your daily tasks, grow your business, and help you become a more successful and advance your career. My name is Karen McCloskey, and I'm the president of NABOR and your host. In today's episode, you will learn the benefits of dealing with Will with Summit Mortgage and Karen with Access Title. So Will, kick us off. Go ahead. Tell us about what you do at Summit Mortgage.
Well, first I wanted to say thank you for having us. I didn't know this existed, so I think it's a great idea. I've been a member of NABOR for, I don't even know, maybe 2003. And I've always considered NABOR to be an integral part of my success, and I'm very appreciative to what it's provided. So I did want to start off with that. About Summit Mortgage, we are what they call a correspondent lender. What that really means is that we are a direct lender. We lend our own money, we do our own underwriting, we do our own closing. I'm the only person my clients ever speak with. There is no black hole. I answer my phone into the evening and on the weekends at all times. And it's funny, we're kind of a throwback in this industry, is that the customer service that we provide is what people remember from decades ago. And honestly, it's kind of lucky that this particular industry and the type of lender that we are, as opposed to being a broker or a bank, with it, the bank is done. I mean, when 5 o'clock rolls around, they're done. But as a direct lender, we keep working until we run out of hours. So
Awesome.
It's pretty much about us.
Very cool. So Karen, tell us a little bit about your office and how things work for you at Access Title.
Thank you. Again, just to back up and support what Will said, thank you, NABOR, for this opportunity and for all that you do for the members, whether they are Realtor members or Allied and Affiliate members, but thank you. Access Title Agency has been in the market since 2010. We are known for kind of our tagline, which is responsive, reliable results. It's a customer focus centric business that we have. I often tell people, especially when I meet them in the office, we'll be in our conference room and I'll say, do you notice the phone isn't ringing? We're extremely busy right now. But if the phone is not ringing, it's a good thing, because I know the staff are taking care of the customers and feeding them information. I often train staff that it's kind of like a game, that we try and feed so much information that they don't have to pick up the phone to call to find out what is going on with their file. We also tailor our work style to meet the client's needs or desires. We're not kind of a one-fit shop that says, this is the way we do business and you need to conform to the way that we do business. We like to tailor our work styles. We also have a couple of attorneys that we work with, which is good for when we have split transactions. So if the buyer is directing the title, we have a couple of local attorneys that we work with that can also tailor to what the customer needs are, whether it is just drafting of documents, review of the title commitment and the purchase agreement, or if it's a full-blown representation for our seller or buyer. So again, I think it's just trying to tailor things to what the customer needs and demands are.
That's wonderful. I see as I'm listening to both of you, I'm just being reminded of as I guess you said it best, Will, customer service of days ago. So that's just wonderful. So besides that, Will, I'm going to pose this question to you. With so many mortgage choices out there, what makes yours unique in your eyes?
Well, you're right about that. And I even was thinking about that. I mean, we kind of have similar rates, similar programs, similar fees, no matter where you go. So it does come down, as corny as it sounds, comes down to the customer service part. I think Karen will tell you, I know for a fact that when listing agents get a pre-approval as from Summit, they kind of like, thank goodness. Title companies, when they hear that we're the lender, and I'm sure Karen can attest to this, they love to hear that. They say, it's Summit, oh my goodness, thank you. They just know it's going to work. There won't be any drama, and it will close on time. I was amazed. I remember working on the Legal Resources Committee a couple years ago, and I was amazed to hear how many lenders invoked the 10-day rule, saying that they couldn't get it closed in time. And hearing the realtors in that room say that they had experienced so many times that things simply didn't close on time because the lender didn't get it done, said that we couldn't do it, blah, blah, blah. I've been a mortgage loan officer with Summit Mortgage since 2004. And I got to be honest with you, other than a few times where something happened with an inspection or something like that, I have never had a situation where I didn't close per the contract on time. And I think that that is what really does make us different in town. 16 years in a row, we've been voted either the first or second lender by the Naples Daily News Reader's Choice Award. I think that kind of says something.
Absolutely. So, well, congratulations for that. That is no small feat. So congrats, Will.
We are one of the, I just got notified yesterday by Naples Daily News that we're one of the finalists again this year.
Awesome. Well, fingers crossed for you.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So Karen, same question to you. Obviously, there are many choices out there. So besides some of the things that you mentioned earlier, which are all absolutely wonderful, what makes Access Title unique?
Again, to echo what Will says, it comes down to the customer service. You can shop for fees. Some of those fees are governed by the state of Florida, so there's not going to be any variances. You can pay $20, $30, $40 more for a closing fee or associated costs, but it really comes down to the customer service. And I think, from a realtor's perspective, it's knowing your client's work style and what they need. Sometimes we find that clients from the East Coast are a little more used to working with attorneys, whereas the Midwest are a little bit more used to working with title companies or title agencies. But sometimes if you have that client that is from New York, you want to make sure that you're working with someone who's going to be responsive, because when they're from New York, they want answers and they want them now. And so we've done a great job in making sure that we're able to identify those solutions and make sure that things are working in your client's best interest.
Awesome. Good stuff. Well, Karen, I'm actually going to ask you this question. So what's the number one question you get asked in a market like this, the same market that we're in?
How quickly can you close? So, Will, you can attest in the past, you probably have pulled off a few rescue loans over the years that you've been in business. But this year has really been the year for rescue closings. When some companies have been overloaded, they're turning away some of those contracts. And it's figuring out the pieces of the puzzle, making sure that you have the adequate staffing and the resources so that the realtors don't need to second guess what date they can write into that contract. They know that we're able to, achieve what they want to achieve and bring that closing across the finish line.
Awesome. I could imagine that was it. But actually, let me ask you a follow-up. In, not thinking about this market right here, what are some of the other typical questions that you're asked from local NABOR members?
Most often it is about fees.
Right. Yeah.
And the structure. Sometimes there'll be questions related to signing. They have a customer, they perceive that there's something that's going to be a challenge or perhaps a hurdle to the transaction. So it's just speaking with them and making sure that they know that, we have solutions for them. For example, right now we have a seller who is in Canada and is unable to come down here. So it's making sure that they understand that that's not an issue. We can work through that and make sure that we get the required signatures and bring it to the closing.
Awesome.
Since I've got you here, Karen, let me ask you. You get a lot of questions about whether how to hold title, joint, or other types of tenants in commons and things like. Do you get a lot of questions like that from your clients?
We get a few, but not too many. We have a handout sheet that will give them some examples of the various forms and what they need. Of course, we're not an attorney. So sometimes if they have different needs, we can refer them to one of the 2 attorneys that we work with to address their, estate planning needs and things of that nature. But in general, no, I would say probably the biggest hurdle that we have is sometimes husband and wives, maybe coming from different places in the US, are not as familiar with the husband and wife designation, and they will, not realize that by designation of husband and wife, it means as tenants by the entirety, but they think they need to be joint tenants with full rights or survivorship, which is different than a husband and wife.
Yeah, I was always curious because, in our loan officer software, I have to go, when I get the deal, I have to go and indicate somewhere right then, and I always put joint tenants, but I know down the road after the title work comes in and you've already found out how do they want to hold title, that it gets adjusted in our system. But so I never see how the sausage was made there. I was curious.
And we learned to never assume that it's a husband and wife. They may have the same last name, but you can never assume that they're husband and wife. Many times it's a brother and sister taking title to the property. So always proceed with caution.
Yep.
Absolutely. Those are words to live by, right? So, Will, what's the number one question you are being asked these days?
I know. Actually, pretty easy. So many people that are trying to get contracts, they have to go cash. Especially they're using that NABOR contract. And, on page 2 of the NABOR contract, you have 2 choices. First one is either cash/mortgage, no contingency, or the second is simply mortgage. And they are, regardless of how strong we are, regardless if we tell them, look, I'm a professional loan officer, it's going to work. However, I'm not the underwriter.
Right.
I can't tell you your deal's approved. They are asking, what are the odds, Will? Are we going to get this done? And I have to do my best to go and assure them that they look great, that there's not going to be any issues, without telling them that I guarantee it. I get that question the most, and people they are making those decisions, and it's their own risk decision that they're making. So we get that question. Obviously, I get the question about how quickly can we close. A lot of the people who are going cash know they have, a 15-day inspection period, and asking if I'm going to get the appraisal back in 15 days, because you and I both know, and Karen as well, that listings already are hopeful at a level that maybe not supported by the comps. And then after that hopeful is listed, there's a bidding war. So a property that was maybe really in years past would have been listed at 4.25, listed at 440 and sells for 470.
Right.
And they're asking me what's going to happen if it doesn't appraise. So I go through all the iterations of how that works, and they want to know, because once they go cash, doesn't matter if I deny the loan or not, they're on the hook. So I get that question a lot too. And unfortunately, as everybody has found out, for years, we where it just felt wonderful because we have a direct relationship with our appraisers, and we knew we were going to get that appraisal back within 7 days, guaranteed. Now, and these same appraisers that we've worked with for over a decade, who value our relationship, it's 2 to 3 weeks, which may not always fit that 15-day thing. So.
Oh my goodness. I can imagine that it's a tough spot for you and the buyer.
It's not so much a tough spot for me. I know the answer, and I can tell them this is what it is.
Right.
Now, as I tell all my clients, Corey, I tell them the biggest fear that everybody has is going to bed at night not knowing what they don't know. And I say to them, in my business, at least the way I run my business, my goal is that at the end of the day, we feel like we've got all of the answers or all the choices, and you got your arms around. So you go to bed at night and you know, these are my choices. I just need to make a choice, because that's a whole lot more comforting than not knowing what you don't know, because there's fear then.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's what I try to help my clients with.
Awesome. So Karen, I'm going to ask you, do you have any, obviously without having any names or anything, do you have any interesting stories that you would like to share with us about an experience, whether it was a growth experience or a wonderful experience? Do you have any stories you want to share with us?
Oh my gosh, I often say that we could write a book. I've been in the business for over 32 years, and there are a lot of good stories over the years. I think that's what I find so fascinating about my industry, is that there is always something new. Being in the business for this long, you know, you can pretend that you know it all, but there is always a new experience, a new growth opportunity
Mm-hmm.
that is just looking to come knocking on your door. And that's what keeps it fun and challenging. Stories, oh my gosh, there's so many, it's just hard to pick from.
Well, I hear you for sure. How about you, Will? Do you have any amazing customer help stories that you want to share with us? Or
You know, unfortunately, gone are the days where somebody screwed a deal up and we were able to get it done in 7 to 10 days. Okay, it's simply part of that is because we can't get an appraisal in that period of time. But I will tell you this, I continue to go and get deals that have been denied by other lenders a lot of times because of the condos. Because one of the major things how do I usually tell my clients? I tell clients, look, there's always two pieces to every financing. One is the borrower, the other is the property. Okay, so forget about the borrower for the moment. Let's talk about the property. If it's a single family, it's appraisal and survey, end of story. If it's a condo, it's still the appraisal for value. There is no survey because they don't own the land. However, per the Fannie and Freddie guidelines and FHA and VA and USDA, we have to assess the financial health of the community. And there's an easy way to do this and a hard way to do this. And you need to know these rules inside and out. And I can't tell you how many times where I'll be careful here, another entity has just not reviewed it well. I mean, for instance, I look at these condo questionnaires, I look at these budgets, I try to get my realtors that I work with, who I know we need to look at these, to get that to me before they write the contract. It only takes me 30 seconds to look at that budget to know, is it good or not? And to go from there. So that, because you know what, there's nothing worse for a realtor to write a contract and then they go and find out that the place didn't qualify 10 days before closing.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the stories where they come back to me then, because their client that they referred to me but never called me because they knew better and they wanted to use their lender at home, and they just didn't know how to handle a Florida condo. And they get to me, I then look at it and I find out, can I do something here or not? I would say 70% of the time I can do something. And I tell them, you just got to follow my direction, do this, this, and this, and off we go. And eventually we do get it closed.
And there's a lot to be said for using a local lender like Will and his company. There really is.
Absolutely. I have some horror stories of when I actually sold real estate for that exact thing right there. We used something out of California, and it was one of my most challenging deals. Against my advice, my buyer did. So Will, I feel you on that one.
And the meaning of why those companies, maybe it's a lender out of a different state, but they may have their processing hub in California. So you're trying to get something approved last moment for a morning closing.
Yep.
And they're not answering you because they think they have hours to go to communicate with you. And, they're on the West Coast in a 3-hour difference. So just some of those challenges that they don't think about when working, with.
Yeah, it's funny you say this. So I get the text message last night. It's 8:30 p.m. and it's from the realtor. They're closing today. And there are a couple items in the house that were supposed to be there in the walkthrough that weren't there.
Oh, no.
Now they want a credit and they want to know, hey, we just wrote up an amendment, give a credit. I say, no, we can't do it that way. They said, what do you mean? I said, here's what the amendment, how it needs to read. Get everybody to sign this. We'll make sure we get you new docs tomorrow, even on Juneteenth.
Right.
And somehow, it actually closed today. And but that was a conversation that was happening last night for an hour after 8:30. I mean, fortunately, I was still up watching the U.S. Open, so so it was fine. But I'm like, that's why they like to work with us, because it's my cell phone. That it's not just an office line that rings and rings on the weekend. No, you get the same phone number my friends have.
That's good and bad at times, right? No, I'm just kidding.
No, it is what it is. I can tell you that. I can tell you this: when I retire, I'm definitely going to go and I'm going to sell on the number.
Well, Karen and Will, this has been awesome. So, Karen, and any last words you'd like to get into our listeners about working with Access Title?
Just give us a try. We know that we have to earn your business. And I think the statistics show that you have to do a good job for at least 3 times before you can convert somebody. But we would just love that opportunity to work with you and show you what we're about and how we can benefit you and your customers.
Awesome. Will, I'll throw the same thing over to you. Any last words?
Well, I think a lot of realtors. I mean, how many realtors do we have in Naples, in Collier County now?
Collier County? Well,
at NABOR.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're over 7,000 now.
Over 7,000, and I'm proud to say a majority of them have heard of Summit Mortgage one way or another. And I think that because we've been here in town for 20 years now. And the fact that I am still with Summit since November of 2004, I mean, I'm a big proponent of the proof is in the pudding. And as a loan officer, if John R. Wood, I mean, you're a little bit different, John R. Wood, okay. But for realtors, as you well know, is that always looking for grass that's greener on the other side.
Right.
The fact that I'm still with Summit for 17 years, and I've had lots of opportunities to go wherever I wanted to, and I've stayed with Summit. And there's a reason for that. They get the job done. It de-stresses my life, and we have a very good reputation in town. And I as somebody in my position, what else could you ask for? So, like I said, proof is in the pudding. I wouldn't be here if they weren't very good at what they do.
Absolutely. Well, Will and Karen, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate y'all jumping on with me and talking a little bit about Summit Mortgage and Access Title. And I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day and take care.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Corey. All
Thank
the
you
best.
so much. Absolutely. Take care.
Bye-bye.